I understand and respect that you can absolutely have the fear from all of those emotions and everything that comes up, but why do you have shame?
The fear is that I burden people. The fear is that I'm useless to people. The way fear and shame go hand in hand is that I know what that fear is. And all of those things I said I'm afraid of, I have embodied into shame, because maybe it gives me more control. Maybe I think it gives me more awareness. Maybe I think that I can control the reality a little bit better if I just sink my teeth into it and bite off a chunk of that fear and shame.
The difference between fear and shame is not very obvious, mainly because you normally don't encounter shame without fear. So they go hand in hand. So the main difference, however, is that fear is a feeling that makes you weary and unwilling to do things. And shame is something that makes you feel as though others would look down on you.
So maybe, I don't know if fear or shame comes first. If I'm going to take a stab at it, I'll say that if fear is the unwillingness to try, then shame is the knowing that you can't. Shame is saying, I know I can't because. And really taking that fear and manifesting it into your identity.
Into your reality.
Damn it. Yeah.
Not fun.
So what I would love to talk about in this episode is I'm going to ask you what you're afraid of.
Meow.
And I'm going to ask you what you're ashamed of.
Meow.
Meow.
Hello, Meow Meows. Thank you for your time today.
What we plan to focus on within our second series, Ego Death, is diving inward through our own personal transformations.
Speaking about feeling our emotions, expressing them appropriately, and not throwing them under the rug.
Dismantling our egos and inner narratives, recognizing our fear and shame.
Exploring our triggers, what they mean, and choosing the type of emotional energy we want to live with.
Alrighty, Meow Meows, let's dive inward.
Good morning, Cat.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great now. We'll see how I do at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
I might be crying.
That's ditto. That's fine though, because we're going into fear and shame.
Fear and shame.
Many of us live with one or the other, or both, or all of it, because that exists.
That exists.
Let's just get on in here. Why do you think talking about fear and shame is important?
Because fear festers in shame, and shame can only exist in silence. So we're gonna get fucking loud.
And it's tremendously healing to just speak about any emotions that arise in our souls.
Yeah.
If you feel triggered or upset or angry or whatever by anything, it's so good to speak of it. And it's so healing to grow in through it.
I really try and live my life by speaking truth to shame. And especially from this last Scorpio season, I dove into everything. And I said, as soon as it comes out, I'm running with it.
Yeah,
as soon as it comes
out.
up, I'm talking about it. As soon as I feel this feeling, like we're diving in. And it has been so healing for me. And it's not like it's easy, but it's
never easy.
Yeah, it's easier than continuing to exist with it.
Right.
I'm not trying to exist with this stuff down inside me anymore.
Nope, dig it out, poop it out, you're good.
So what's the difference between fear and shame?
So I've been trying to figure out, finding like different beautifully worded definitions, and the one that I found is the difference between fear and shame is not very obvious, mainly because you normally don't encounter shame without fear. So they go hand in hand. So the main difference, however, is that fear is a feeling that makes you weary and unwilling to do things. And shame is something that makes you feel as though others would look down on you. So the fear will fester, giving you that lack of encouragement.
And then I think shame is kind of just the embodiment of that. So maybe, I don't know if fear or shame comes first. If I'm going to take a stab at it, I'll say that if fear is the unwillingness to try, then shame is the knowing that you can't. Shame is saying, I know I can't because. And really taking that fear and manifesting it into your identity.
Into reality.
Damn it. Yeah.
Not fun.
So what I would love to talk about in this episode is I'm going to ask you what you're afraid of.
Meow.
And I'm going to ask you what you're ashamed of.
Meow.
Meow. We'll start with fear.
A few different things.
And can I just mention, I mean intangible fears. Not like fear of spiders, not even fear of
darkness, snakes, things. No,
just the intangible fears that exist deep within your soul.
Yeah, like for me, disappointing myself or disappointing others. That's a fear of I don't want to disappoint someone else. Like I don't want to disappoint you, Kat. Well,
you have, and I'm very disappointed. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, what?
I'm kidding. Oh my God, the fear in her eyes.
It's like, this is the first time I've heard that.
No. You could never disappoint me, Kyla.
Well, that's probably not true.
It's probably not true. But I'd always forgive you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, depending on the circumstance, but I will.
I'd still forgive you, but you're right. I could be very disappointed.
Yeah, we'll just let that be and not have
We'll let you know when it happens, guys. I'm just kidding.
Ouch. Crying. Another fear is not having enough money. And relying on money as my security for whatever I live for. That's just something I grew up learning as a habit from a parent of mine, and that's something that they are working on now, which is so interesting to have both a parent and a child working on at the same time, because they're unlearning a habit that they incorporated into their whole entire life. And I'm unlearning a habit that I watched and observed, and now rewording my brain and my relationship towards money.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
It's a fun time. What's a fear of yours, madame?
So I tried to get really clear about this because I didn't know what my root fear was.
Yes, you talk about shame often, but fear is not something that you necessarily dive into.
I think I was watching a YouTube video with Kyle Cease, and he did a really good job of breaking down. All right, so you have your outer layer, and that's the things that you distract yourself with. You have your secondary layer, and that's the feeling of, maybe shame or disappointment or guilt, kind of these minor emotions that cover up the root fear of what you are afraid to feel. And so I was like, what am I afraid of? What am I afraid to feel? Like, what does it all stem from? That's a really hard question to ask. Like, Kylo, what is the root fear of your entire existence? Ouch. Like, I don't know. So I sat with it for a little while and was very blessed to have some clarity. And I realized my biggest fear is my fear of unworthiness. I am scared that I won't be worthy. So I have worked so hard in my life to accomplish everything I can and to prove my worthiness, essentially, and to prove my worthiness to myself, especially my parents, and just trying to prove I am worthy of this life. And pretty much I can say everything stems from that. Every single fear that I have stems from that. And the benefit of naming these fears and the benefit of finding that root fear that really got you is that it doesn't get you as hard once you name it. Mm-mm. And again, it's speaking truth to shame. You know, I no longer think, oh, I'm not worthy. I no longer have these subconscious thoughts that make me wonder if I am worthy. I know that's my fear. That is what I'm scared of. I don't have to identify with it because that's just what I'm scared of feeling. So very, very helpful. So fear's great. Fear is good. Shame to me is still ouchy.
Yeah.
I hate feeling ashamed. I hate the feeling of shame.
And I never grew up using the word shame because I just heard it as such a negative emotion. And
yeah, right. Would you even call it an emotion?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I literally never used it. I never used it. And then Kat asked me the other day, what are you ashamed of? And I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Right. I mean, I could see it in you. And I think you're an incredibly strong individual. I think you're incredibly present with yourself and you're incredibly aware of yourself. And you've done so much work and growth on yourself that I'm like, well, she doesn't feel shame because there's nothing she should be ashamed of without realizing that you just hadn't used that word before.
Yeah, I've literally never used that word before.
And I'm like, we all have shame and we are all ashamed of something, but we have to dive into it. I think I said too that guilt is a better word.
And that's what I've identified a lot of emotions. And I think the guilt and shame kind of go hand in hand too on, okay, well, which one's which?
Right. And they do go hand in hand to a varying degree. But something I learned from Brene Brown, this was a beautiful talk she did at a teacher conference, which my mother sent to me.
Oh,
I know. Like, we send each other Brene Brown videos. Like, how sweet is our relationship?
it's so fun when moms do that.
I love her. But so the video was about shame in the classroom, and Brene Brown speaks so much on shame. So just God bless her for doing that. But she said the difference between guilt and shame is guilt is knowing that I could have done better, and shame is I couldn't have done better because this is all I can do. So essentially, guilt is I regret that behavior. I don't like that behavior. I don't like that I did that. And I hate guilt. I fucking hate guilt. When I have to sit with guilt, that is my most uncomfortable time. I could forgive you for stabbing me in the back, and I would choose that any other day than feeling like I've done something wrong. So I hate guilt. I've avoided it for a really long time. And what you do in that discomfort, in that horrible feeling, is shame takes it and says, that's the best I could do because I'm not any better. And it takes the behavior and you identify with it. And you, rather than feeling guilty and feeling like I could have done better and I should have done better and I will do better, you take all of that away and you just say, I must be a piece of shit because I didn't do better and I can't do better and I won't do better. And so guilt is a huge deterrent for a bad behavior, but shame almost always encourages it to go again. It feeds it tremendously. And so, I mean, the reason this episode is about fear and shame and not fear and guilt is because guilt is totally on a different playing board.
We'll get into guilt later.
And I mean, guilt is important, but that's an emotion. Shame is the embodiment of that emotion. And that's why it's so toxic. That's why it's so dangerous. And that's why it can only exist in silence, because it's something you believe to be true. That's just a bad behavior. That's all it is. So, Kyla, what is something that you have felt ashamed of?
I had gotten a new position and super duper excited. I'm like,
a new position at work?
Yeah. New position at work. And I did my training, feel very confident. Like, I go home and study when I'm off work. Love it. I literally love it. And the new challenges, and So within my first week, I'm like, I feel confident, I feel good. I don't know shit. I'm still learning, of course. If I have any questions, like, I'll ask someone. I have no problem doing that. And I go ahead and start working in my new position. It's only like the second or third day by myself, and I finish helping a member and they leave, and within minutes I got called into my manager's office, and we had like our back offices in contact, and they're like, what the fuck did you do?
You fucked up.
And I'm like, instantly my stomach flipped inside out. I felt like I was going to puke.
Now, can I ask?
Yeah, ask away.
Yeah.
Ask all the things.
Where was the fear in that as well? Was there any fear of I'm gonna lose this position, or any fear of they won't trust me in the future?
Yeah, the trust. I felt like I instantly broke.
Yeah,
and
God,
like,
you really value trust.
And I'm like, fuck, I know what I'm doing, and it sucks because I made a mistake, and I just started in this new position in the first week, so I know it's a huge slap on the wrist and like break my hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Please, I will take full recognition, and I'll take the blame for it because it's something that I did, and it was a big no, but it's something I'll never do it again.
Right.
I can't go into too many details because of legality reasons, but
well, and also it's not as important as how it made you feel.
no, it's definitely not as important as how it made me feel, but it definitely helped me recognize the importance of, yes, getting to know who I'm speaking with and genuinely creating that relationship. That's so important to me. But fucking taking my time so I know that I am doing what I need to do for the system to get it done.
Yeah. So I can totally relate to that fear of shame. Sorry, that fear of shame, that fear and shame.
Yeah, it's both. It was so good because I instantly like went into like a shell and went in like my soul, and I'm like, fuck, what did I do? Like,
did you shut down?
I was really shutting down, and my manager, she's like, Kyla, do not sit on this. Because if you sit on this, you'll do it again.
It's true.
Like,
it's true.
She was like, Kyla, take this because you'll never do it again.
Yeah.
Take it because it's something you're going to absolutely learn from. Do not sit on this because she's like, you're a person that loves to learn. You fucking love learning. So take this as a huge learning experience.
Yeah.
Because you do not sit on things. You are better than that. And I'm like, oh.
And
okay.
It's so amazing that she said that, because
I
that's
loved it.
literally what I was saying about guilt and shame.
Mm-hmm.
Like the guilt of you messing up and the shame that, oh, fuck, what if I do it again?
Right. And I'm like, no. Because I'll do it again.
And if you sat on it, you would do it again.
Yeah.
Damn.
I know. Thank you. So happy that she said that, because it instantly, like, I was able to breathe for a second, which was so much better.
Speaking about shame and doing things again, the biggest thing that I experience shame for to this day is driving. And I don't have a car and I can't drive. And I'm always that bitch who I'm just like, also, I can't drive. So you're meeting me at my office, or we're meeting somewhere where I can walk to, which in reality, I don't hate. I don't really like driving. I like being able to walk everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I like city living. It's how I'd like to live my life. But I have so much shame attached to not being able to drive, and so much shame attached to me losing that privilege. And it's interesting because I got into a series of accidents in 3 years in a row. Every year I got into an accident. And for one of those years, I didn't have my license at all. And then I got a car back And within 3-4 months, I got into another accident. And that really speaks to the shame that I had embodied and the way I manifested that behavior again.
So, meow, I love you.
Well, and I just have to say too, it wasn't, it was something that just blows my mind is, you know, it wasn't drunk driving or anything like that. I wasn't even on my phone. My brain literally just didn't register it. As the input came in, my confirmation bias said, we don't move. It's called a sarcoma, when your brain literally just doesn't register new information coming in. And, you know, I can't just attribute it to my ADHD and say, oh, like, but I did. And I said, well, I'm just a bad driver. And I lived with that manifestation for so long. And so now the shame just comes out of, I feel worthless. I feel useless.
No.
I feel burdened. I feel like I burden everyone.
But no. Okay, cat. Meow. I guess I see the fear in that, and I can understand that. I understand and respect that you can absolutely have the fear from all of those emotions and everything that comes up. But why do you have shame? Why do you recognize? What's the right word? Why do I feel ashamed of it? Yeah, why do you feel ashamed of it?
Well, and I thank you so much for saying that, just because, I mean, the fear is that I burden people. The fear is that I'm useless to people. And so for you to just dismantle that fear so quickly and say, why do you feel ashamed of this?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't shame you for that at all.
No. And of course not. That's a huge fear, and it's very sad to have that fear, because I understand it in many different ways. But you should never feel ashamed of that.
Oh, thank you, Kyla. That's so healing. I've noticed it a lot with my work in previous years, where I say, yeah, I'm not a great photographer. I don't know shit. I'm still learning. So don't you, like, any shit you have to say, I've already said it first.
Yeah.
And I try and beat people to the punch.
Why?
So they can't say it first, or they can't say something that I'm not aware of. I want everyone to know I'm perfectly aware of my shortcomings.
Because it would make you feel shitty if someone up and said
or if it was something I wasn't aware of.
Okay.
And maybe it comes back to the fear of unworthiness, and maybe I'm just like, no, I know this is my worthiness threshold, and I know that I'm not worthy of any of these things because I'm already aware of it. And so if I name it first, then you can't get me. You can't hurt me. And I do not allow people to hurt me. So I usually shut down before that happens.
But does it...
It's not helping me, and it's something I'm learning.
Very good. I was definitely gonna ask you that. Be like, so is saying that stuff about you to you more hurtful than if someone said something?
Fuck yeah, it is, Kyla. It's very, very hurtful. And this isn't something I say to myself anymore. I try and be very delicate about the relationship with myself when it comes to not having a car and not driving.
Of course.
I know it's a story I tell myself.
It is.
It's a big story I tell myself. And I think what I'm trying to do in this last little part of 2020 is I'm speaking truth to all of the shame and all of this fear. I'm getting it out there.
Shake it out.
Because I'm not taking it with me to 2021.
No.
I'm absolutely not fucking taking all of this to 2021.
Some may seep in, but poop it out.
Yeah. I'm gonna poop it out. I'm gonna poop it out. But speaking about these things, even speaking with you today about this,
yeah,
I feel so much lighter. I feel so much better. And if you feel comfortable, listening audience, if you feel comfortable to share a fear or a shame, we would be delighted to unbox that with you And just say, we're so happy to hear it. Let's poop it out.
Yeah.
Let's poop it out. We're not taking this with us to 2021.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
No, but thank you for your time today, Kyla. And thank you for holding space for me and for yourself. And thank you for sharing these very uncomfortable feelings and going there with me.
Oh, per usual. I love you, Kat.
I love you too, Kai. I love you so much.
Meow.
Meow.
All right, meow meows. Have a lovely rest of your day.
Happy Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Alrighty, you lovely meows. We love you deeply, and we thank you dearly for joining us in our journey today.
Subscribe to the 6AM Meow Meows to get notifications for future episodes. If you wish for more meows in your life, you can connect with us on Instagram for questions to ask yourself, writing prompts, as well as tips and tricks related to today's episode. And, of course, cats.
If you're more of a visual person, find us on YouTube for the video version of these podcasts. Or you can join the conversation on Facebook. Share what you think, what you learned, or something you would like to add to our discussions.
To get in touch with us, or if you have any questions, email us at the6ammeowmeows@gmail.com.
And all of these links will be listed below, so just scroll on down to get connected.
As always, we are learning through this journey, so your comments and perspectives are a fundamental part in helping us gain understanding and shifting our current realities.
Again, thank you for your time, and have a perfect rest of your day. Goodbye, beautiful meow meows.
Goodbye!